Am I the astronaut for catching feelings for a friend while I'm currently married? I, 22 female, and my husband, 25 male, have been married for about 5 months, been together for 4 years. About a year and a half ago, my husband's personality did a complete 180. He used to be by my side at all times and complimented me and told me he loved me upwards of 30 times a day. He suddenly only told me he loved me when he was leaving for work. Hold up. We'll red flag that, but also, they've been married for 5 months and his personality did a 180 a year and a half ago? Before you guys got married? Huh. He hasn't complimented me in almost a year, which goes back 7 months before the wedding. I've become good friends with a coworker we'll call Sam. Sam, 27 male, has been there for me through all of the issues with my husband, and I have been more than grateful for his support. Last holiday season, I found my husband's, at the time fiance's, phone filled with inappropriate videos of other women. I blew up at him and set boundaries, which I admit I let fall after a week after not being able to emotionally deal with it at all since then. We have gotten married, but all the issues have still been present. We've had many arguments where I end up in tears begging for his love and he just sits there staring at the wall. Sam knows this all and has helped me release the negative emotions associated with it. My husband will change his behavior and do what I ask for a maximum of a week and then fall back into his behavior of seeing me as a roommate and not his wife. Now, I know that I might be the asshole for confiding in someone else about my marriage, but when you're married to someone who doesn't communicate, you need someone to talk to. Sam and I have started to hang out more than we used to due to me being more or less mourning a marriage that hasn't quite ended. Since being out with Sam, my husband has changed his behavior and has been doing everything I've ever asked of him, but I feel nothing. No love, no appreciation, absolutely nothing. I believe this is another change for a week and then reverting back. Nothing has happened between Sam and me before. However, last week while we were talking, he tried to kiss me. I didn't let it happen and went home. He's since apologized and I have forgiven him. We'll talk about it. We've been talking like nothing happened, but I've realized I've caught feelings for him. He's treated me with so much respect and kindness, which is what I've been hoping for from my husband. Or as I said above, I've been dealing with this for over a year and I'm currently in the stages of deciding if I should stay in this marriage or leave. Part of me feels awful for having feelings for another man while another part of me says it's not my fault. So, am I the astronaut? Candy Thunder, probably should have had you come up for this story because you talk about the stages of broken relationships. There's anger, frustration, resentment, indifference. So there was resentment before, but now you are to indifference, OP. So the fact that you're to this indifference stage is rough. This is hard. I think there is a major problem if the person that you're confiding in as a friend is putting the moves on you. That's not a safe friend to be confiding in. That's not a person that you can confide in because they're taking advantage of the information that you're presenting to them. They're not a sounding board. They're not there to help you navigate this time. They're there for selfish reasons. This can't be the person. This can't be your person. And you have to make a decision right now and say, number one, this friend has got to go. If you're going to give your marriage any chance of surviving here at all, this friend has to go, has to leave the picture because you're not going to be able to make a decision in a vacuum about your future here with this person clouding your judgment. You're not going to be able to do that. And the fact that you're still talking to them is problematic in my opinion here. If you knew that there was ever the possibility of this happening, the first time you got the hint or whiff of it going this direction, that should have been the end of this conversation, the conversation with this friend. It's at that point, I think you chose to end your marriage when you kept that conversation going with him. Now, your husband is obviously an asshole here. Something has happened. Something has happened where you don't know what it is, but the fact that you need that affection and attention from him, it just probably puts more pressure on him and puts him in a state where he can't fulfill it. Whatever that issue is, should be something that is explored in therapy for both of you. And if you needed someone to confide in because your husband isn't communicating with you, having a counselor or therapist that you can talk to about these things is probably a great idea because they're not going to try to put the moves on you. I mean, hopefully, I'm sure there are some bad ones out there, but letting this path go or letting yourself go down this path when you know that there are dangers ahead is just more signals that you're done. And getting to the indifference stage here, is there any coming back from that? Candy Thunder, what do you think? Is there any coming back from indifference? No. There's no coming back from indifference. If you feel nothing at this point, you've moved past resentment and now you're just indifferent, it's done. It's over. It sucks. Something happened with him. You'll never know what that is now because you're already done. But you've gone down this path that has led you to indifference, and now it's over. It sucks. If you were truly at the indifference phase, I don't know that you would be able to see even a slim chance. Maybe that's just like the hope of what was there before. Maybe that was it. But I do think you have to stop talking to this friend to know for sure. You're not going to be able to make any kind of clear decision with some person trying to distract you over here on the side. If you want there to be a chance, you for sure need to end that friendship that is not really a friendship. Now let's say for argument's sake here that you are done. If you decide that you're done and you're truly done, I still think you have to create some distance between you and this friend for a while so that you can get some closure on this situation and truly be happy with yourself instead of falling right into another situation. And if this dude is willing to try to put the moves on you when you're married and he knows that you're emotionally troubled, that's this. And I don't know that when you are ready to start seeing someone romantically again, that it should be this person. Because if they're willing to do that to someone who's in a precarious position and married, you're starting off with a trust issue. It's rough. It is rough. So part of you feels awful for having feelings for another man while another part of you says it's not your fault. I think these are two separate issues. You need to make a decision on your marriage. Do you want to try to make it work or not? That's decision number one. And if you want to try to make it work, you for sure need to, well, you're going to have to, you got a lot of work to do, obviously. But if you're to the indifference phase here, if you don't want to continue trying to make it work, then that's okay. That's understandable because of where you're at. However, I do think you have to get to this point where you give yourself like 6 months to accept and settle and become happy with yourself before needing someone else again. If you go straight from this dysfunctional marriage into a relationship with someone who was pretending to be your sounding board, but really just luring you away, I think you're going to miss a lot of potential joy that you have within yourself. It sucks. I'm not going to call you the asshole here. I think it was a mistake. Continuing to talk to this person who you thought might have feelings for you. I'm not going to call you the asshole for it, because this is a feeling, right? And you can't be an asshole for feeling something. You at least at this point, whenever something did start to happen, you stopped it and you had a checkpoint here, but you're pretending like nothing had happened now. And that's probably where you went wrong here and made the mistake. Candy Thunder looks like she wants to say something. You got a microphone over there. No. It's tough. I think this is a tough situation. And unfortunately, your coping mechanism ended up being talking to this person who gave you attention.